Hello everybody, back again for my Through the Alphabet with my jazz music. In the background we've got Jazz Greats Volume 1 playing. I picked these up at the last estate sale I'd gone to before the isolation stuff hit, but it was Volume 1 and 2. Great stuff. Had Louis Armstrong, Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan, Charlie Parker, Dizzy Gillespie, Lionel Hampton, Charles Mingus, Herbie Mann, Gene Krupa, Coleman Hawkins, Herbie Hancock, and Benny Goodman. All great stuff. But glad to get those. Y'all know I've made the comment before. I'm new, fairly new into the jazz. I can't go into a lot of details. I can't tell you a lot of comparisons. I just know some of the stuff I like. So what I'm going to basically do on these, I'm just going to show you a record for the artist and go from there. And hopefully you guys know about them. Most of them I think self-explanatory. If you like jazz, you know who these guys are. It's nobody that's just out of the wild here. But anyway, so we'll start with A. Of course, Louis Armstrong. There we go. Louis Armstrong, King Louis, Satchmo himself. Great record. There's the track listing. If you can see that. Great record. B's, Dave Brubeck at the Oberlin. Oh, I know you guys like looking at labels. Let me do this. Louis Armstrong on Decca. Dave Brubeck at the Oberlin, the Dave Brubeck Quartet. Where's the song? There we go, at the bottom. There's your song listing. All great stuff. Fantasy, maroon fantasy label. Of course, you got to show John Coltrane. This is the reissue, Imperial reissue. Picked up at Barnes and Noble. One of my favorites of my jazz, probably these two. This one, number one, and the next one, Miles Davis, Kind of Blue. How's that? It's a reissue with the 6i Columbia. Both of these last two on the 180 gram vinyl. Probably the two best jazz albums I have right there. E, Duke Ellington, Ellington Indigos on the Columbia Red 6i. Track listing for that. Duke Ellington. F, got to go with Ella Fitzgerald, Ella and her fellas. And you can see that's a great list of artists she plays with on this record. Get that glare just right in that shadow. But great record. Try to get it to come out on that black Decca label. Get it back in there. Ella Fitzgerald. G, Stan Getz with Charlie Bird. Jazz Samba. Yeah, there's the track listing right there at the bottom. This one's on the Verve label. H. Lionel Hampton. Lionel Hampton at the Vibes. Of course, I like that being percussion. I love anything percussion related records. And this is on the Spinorama label. Kind of interesting label. I kind of like that. Kind of different. That was Lionel Hampton. H. I don't have any I's. No I's for J. Ahmad Jamal. This one's at the Pershing. I've picked up several of his records and glad I have. And didn't realize I already had one of his songs anyway. He is on the MASH soundtrack. And he did the theme song for MASH on that soundtrack. And this is on the Argo label. J.K. Gene Krupa. This one's very best of. There again, the percussion stuff setting in. Love Gene Krupa. Another one of those Verve black labels. KL Ramsey Lewis Trio. L.D. Young, Ramsey Lewis, and Red Holt. Track listing. Another very good Chess Records, blue Chess. And when I call this jazz, this is jazz, big band, the crooners, that kind of, sometimes the lines fade across each other. Some people call the big bands jazz and whatever. But the M, Dean Martin. Of the crooners, I like Dean Martin the best. I know a lot of people like Frank Sinatra better. I got introduced to Dean Martin through the movies with him and Jerry Lewis and stuff, and I always enjoyed his singing, thought he did a great job. But Dean Martin, This Time I'm Swinging, that Capitol Rainbow cover label. N, another one of those big band crooner types, Wayne Newton. Made it as a real young man. Started out real young, still in his teens and stuff, with Don Cachet. Great. The Starline label, Capitol. Kind of like that label, kind of a unique. Don't have an O. No O's for P. Oscar Peterson. So I guess I can be my O and my P, huh? Oscar Peterson Quartet. And I don't think this one has a track listing on it. It's on that black Verve. I think it doesn't have much of a track listing because there's not very many. It's like 2 songs on each side. Yep. Great. I love this one. This is a good one. P, no Q's. R, I'm getting a double twofer on one record here. Linda Ronstadt with Nelson Riddle. Great. One of those ladies that you've heard me mention it before, since I collect Linda Ronstadt. She can sing the phone book. Great vocals. Does the classics. Does just an excellent job on them. I've got 2 copies of this. One of them I still have sealed. I've never opened up. This one does have the lyric sheet. I hope I can get kind of a custom label. R S. Gotta go, Frank. Come Fly With Me. Probably one of my favorites of his, if not the favorite of mine for him. Yeah, there's track listing. Does a great job, of course. This is on the Capitol. Kind of a black Capitol. ST Tuxedo Junction. This was a blind buy. I picked this up at an estate sale. They had several jazz records there, and I picked a couple up and saw this with it. Didn't have a clue who they were, but I thought it was an interesting cover. I believe these were on that day. I went back 2 or 3 days in a row, and the last day they had them for like 50 cents. And I picked this one up, 50 cents. Has a lot of the classics on there, Chattanooga Choo Choo and stuff like that. But what's neat about this one too is it's got the yellow vinyl. It's not bad. Not bad. Heard better, heard worse. That was T. Don't have any U's. But V, have to go with Sarah Vaughan. And I went with this one, Echo of an Era. It's a 2-record set. Just great deal of all of her works. Sampling, I guess would be the word, of all of her stuff. Very good. Really enjoy that. It's on that roulette label. Very, very good. Von W. World's Greatest Jazz Band with Yank Lawson and Bob Haggart. I don't know. This was another one of those blind buys that I picked up with several other jazz records. And it was such a clean record and everything. I thought, man, I've got to give it a try. And it's on that Project label, which usually their stuff's pretty good. And the sound quality is great. Real good sound quality on it. But I don't know. I don't care for this one quite that much. Don't have an X. Y. Yellow Jackets. Another one of those blind buys that I picked up at a estate sale where there was a bunch of other jazz records. This one, I like this one pretty good. Like I said, it was blind buy. I didn't have a clue who these guys were. It's a Warner Brothers label. But they're pretty good. Kind of reminds me of Spyro Gyra, that type of music. So there's track listing. And there's a listing of the musicians on there. You guys that are really into jazz may know more about this band than I do. I don't really know that much about them, but it's pretty good listening though. So anyway, and I don't have a Z, so that's a quick run through of my jazz through the alphabet. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you've enjoyed that little series I've done of these three. With these three, I enjoyed doing them. It's kind of gave me a chance to get into some and show some of the stuff I've never shown before, or not much. Hope to be doing some more of these, or something similar. I don't know what I'll do exactly, but I'm going to try to get into showing some of the stuff that I usually don't show that much. I may go in and try to do one of some of the softer rock, more the mainstream to soft side of rock, pop, whatever. Because I know usually it's the little harder rock that I usually show. So I may try to go the other direction, do the soft and pop style. See if I can come up with enough for that. If I do, we'll give that a shot. So anyway, hope you enjoyed. Y'all stay safe out there. You know, this thing's going to come to an end one of these days, and we're going to be thankful and really be blessed and enjoy each other's company when we can. So until next time, keep them spinning.